Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode.
Well, I forgot to do it right afterwards, so here I am at 4:30 the other day. I've had the conversation. I think give it a 5 out of 10. One would be like it went awful and like things blew up. Number 10 would be like the best ever. Can't believe it happened. Which could have it again. Probably a 5. I had like 2 pages of notes outlining, how to start the conversation, how to pinpoint the opener to clarify what the rubs and what the issues are, and then what are the action items you're going forward. And right off the bat, I feel like, hey, let's have a conversation. It's a bit serious, and so wanted to just get right down to it. And I could tell like the mood changed a little bit to like the nervousness and anxiety on the other person's part. But I feel like, hey, based on what I'm seeing with this vendor and with this other person and this other interaction, some stuff that I think we need to figure it out because it's not going very well. And I know that this is the right relationship, having you here, and must see how I can support you, and we can move past so that these issues with other individuals does not showstopper. And right off the bat, the person having this conversation was very like confused. It's like, wait, I am the problem? No, haven't you seen what the other people are doing? They're the this is going to be a long one. So fast forward, probably of the hour and 10-minute conversation, I'd say 40 to 45 minutes was rabbit trails on business plan, business strategy, reasonable work expectations, and not so much about the issues with the 3 instances that I had. So that's why I didn't want to rank it higher, because I don't think they quite understood exactly what my conundrums were in those issues. And this person was more like not following my business plan for the business. And so it's tough because the person, I would say, was a bit defensive, which in some cases valid. Things got like dropped, things didn't quite happen, and it wasn't clear and obvious how those things could avoid being dropped. So I took ownership of that. And so, you're spot on. This was an area that it's a one-time hiccup. It's definitely not permanent. Valid, fair point. But there are a few items that, this person was not up for saying, yeah, I am contributing to this back and forth tension with one of the vendors. I wish they would have said, yeah, I can get that over to them. Instead of saying like, well, no, like they need to just be able to figure it out when like the other person can't figure it out because we have like a username and password. One of our vendors needs a username and password, and my person's like, well, sorry, go talk to the CEO, Nathan, to go get the username and password. Like, well, no, like, I need you to give this to them because my job is not to do that. My job is to help us grow the business and not handle administrative tasks. So, no, this is going to be on your plate. And so that's why I wasn't as great as well. In a perfect situation, the person would have been coachable, would have said, hey, what can I do to improve? How can I crush this? And then some areas are kind of like, oh, I'm confused. Oh, I don't quite agree. But what about this for the workout plan? This is an onboarding issue from a sales promise that we can't fulfill. Like, well, no, like, okay, yeah, we can talk about sales and fulfillment, but here we have an issue with our accounting. Like, let's get this relationship clarified and good to go, because I need you to have a good involvement with accounting. So it's a little frustrating, but I also didn't want to like force my way to the conversation as long as we stay within time. This is my first time ever doing it. That's why I wanted to let the other person have more of that engagement. It was kind of interesting. Along the way, near the end, the person was nice thing. The other person like, hey, I want you here. I want you in this position. I give you a raise because I know you're the right person for the job, and I know that you can do great at it. So I'm not backing out. I'm not giving up on you, but you should get this stuff figured out. And you're like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do this role for the passion and for the members and for the studio. Because, I could leave and I could go make a lot more money, have way less stress doing what I went to school for, but that's not my God-given calling. That's not my purpose to be here. And then few other things, let me finish the conversation. And that kind of rattled me, not going to lie. And I'm sure there's a handful of ways to read it. One angle that I'm receiving that is that it's a veiled threat. Like, hey, if I'm stressed out and I'm panicking, I can bounce and go make $50,000 doing something else and have way less stress on my plate. Like, well, I'm not a fan of that. Like, if I'm that disposable as an employer on your employee mind, why should I keep investing in you if you could drop me at a moment's notice and now the whole club is in trouble because of your decision, rational or irrational? And so in my mind, that was a big red flag. That's going to be really tough to come back from. If they're willing to walk and make more money and have less stress, I don't know why they haven't walked unless they're bluffing. And so, we wanted to reiterate with them over and over, second, even a third time. Hey, here's the 3 action items we got to work on. Here's what I'm reviewing for as progress. Here's what needs to happen with. And let's catch up next week. Let's see how the progress is coming along. And so, the crystal ball says odds are not too high that it's going to go smooth. I want it to. The stellar employees, great skill set, great ability. But I don't know if they're coachable and they're not able to follow my direction, good or bad. It's fine having pushback. I encourage pushback. But if I ask them to do something, they push back and I say, sorry, we need to still do it. And then they go do their own thing. That's not going to work. That's not up where I'll go. I don't know. So, I have a hunch where this is going, but I'm going to keep reinvesting, keep being optimistic, and realize the reality that this may not be a good long-term partnership with the employee and myself, because I'm limiting their income and increasing their stress, and I don't want that for anybody. So we'll keep trying out the new employees. Employer stuff is always a recruiting game, and at the end of the day, you gotta take care of your members. Even if people say they are the savior to the business and they are irreplaceable and everything will fall apart without them, there's maybe an element of truth to that. There's a lot of element of truth where things will probably be okay at the end of the day, especially if someone is self-directed, as some. So that's where we're at. That's why it's a 5 out of 10. Glad I had the conversation. Glad I had it now. Glad I did not wait. And now to see how the rest of the following couple days progresses. Let's go rock them out.
This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.